Welcome to Security Nuggets. In this series of videos, I'll bring security fundamentals to life by demonstrating common tools and techniques being used every day across today's cyber battlefields. The goal is to take the explanation of security fundamentals beyond the typical PowerPoint slideware. Instead, we will place you behind the monitor of a black hat threat actor. By seeing the tools and techniques being used firsthand, hopefully it will help build a foundational understanding of common security concepts. The first video will focus on the cyber attack kill chain. The kill chain shows the 7 steps a threat actor will go through when trying to compromise your environment. Before I get started, I wanted to give you a quick overview of the steps we will be going through for this demonstration. This slide shows all the steps in the cyber attack kill chain. If we start at the top, reconnaissance, I'm going to do a Nessus vulnerability scan of my target PC to try and uncover vulnerabilities. It will show the PC is running a vulnerable version of Adobe Flash. In the weaponization phase, I'll build a malicious payload to exploit the Flash vulnerability, which will be hosted on a web server on my attack terminal. Our delivery will be in the form of a social engineered email that includes a web link pointing to the attack web server. Once the email web link is clicked, an exploit will be downloaded and will create a buffer overflow on the target PC. Our target PC is now compromised, so we can now do an installation of a payload. In this case, we will demonstrate the Meterpreter payload. We are now ready to go, so the target PC will send a command and control notification to the attacker. Finally, the attacker now has full control of the target PC, so they can perform actions such as accessing the file system, installing applications, and remote desktoping into their system. The first stage of the cyber kill chain is reconnaissance. In this stage, we want to find out as much as possible about our target so that we can craft a tailored attack. Part of this involves investigating the recipient of the attack via social media and web research. Another aspect is to use a technology tool such as a vulnerability scanner to collect information about the target computing environment. In this case, we're using a vulnerability scanner tool called Nessus. I have done a scan of my target PC, and Nessus has identified that it has security vulnerabilities. It is using an old unpatched version of Adobe Flash. It's also using an old unpatched version of the Firefox browser. This is useful information to know as we move to the next phase of the kill chain, weaponization. We now need to build our attack. Using the Armitage penetration testing tool, we can search for any Adobe Flash vulnerabilities that exist in the Metasploit database of all known exploits. We will use the Adobe Flash Shader Job Overflow exploit. We will configure the exploit to build a web server on our attack PC that will host the malicious download. We will specify that we want to use the Meterpreter payload once the PC has been compromised. We are now ready to go to the next phase, delivery. For delivery, we need to get our target to access our malicious web server to download the Adobe Flash exploit. By crafting a socially engineered email, we can entice our target to click on the malware link. The next 2 phases, installation and command and control, happen very quickly. After clicking on the malicious email link, our target downloads the malicious payload. As soon as it installs, his device sets up a command and control channel to notify the attacker of his success. We are now ready for action. The attacker now has complete control of the target PC. Using the Meterpreter payload, the attacker can browse the file system and upload files. They can also get a screenshot or access the webcam. The attacker can also control the PC using the command prompt. And finally, for the ultimate control, the attacker can remote desktop into the target PC for full interaction. Here you can see we have a VNC remote desktop view into what's being shown on the target PC's web browser. So there you go. We have reviewed and demonstrated all the stages of the cyber attack kill chain. But why is this important? A few reasons. Number one, you should consider all 7 stages of the kill chain when building out your security program and security posture. Just like the attacker has multiple threat vectors to try and compromise your environment, as a defender, there are multiple steps in the kill chain, each serving as an opportunity to block a penetration attempt. Number 2, your security program needs to be an ongoing process. Just like the attackers, you need to continuously scan, monitor, and detect vulnerabilities, exploits, and compromise in your network. And number 3, finally, you need to be aware that the kill chain demo was just the beginning. Once the attacker has a foothold in your network, they will start exploring. In many cases, because they've made it into the soft underbelly of your corporate network, they can explore without even needing vulnerabilities and exploits. We'll touch on this lateral movement at a future version of Security Nuggets.